The following radio program you're about to listen to is provided to you, the listener, by Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkedgeekstudios.com. Mind of a Geek is brought to you by the new Mind of a Geek t-shirt. Get yours today at tiny.cc/igswag. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mind of a Geek. I am your host, Nate, and I am joined, as always, by Brandon. Brandon.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, boy. I'm good. I am good. How are you?
I don't know with that response. I am concerned.
Yeah? I just bought some gack. You know? It's a good night.
Yeah, man, I tell you, if you are not a patron to this show and you aren't watching live, you missed quite the pre-show. So patreon.com/IGstudios, even if you just do it for a month, I promise you the $1 is worth it for the pre-show of this episode. I promise you. If not, then I'll PayPal it back to you. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, another episode of Mind of a Geek. It is, I almost said December. Fuck, it is October 20th.
And I am 32.
And you are Brandon. Yeah, and if you want that connection, listen to tonight's episode of All Geeked Up, because Brandon thought he was a year older than he actually is.
Yeah, and we like to incorporate continuity in our shows, so.
Right. Yeah, there's a reward for listening to all of them.
Oh, there's rewards. Now, I just wish that the setup in here was a little different so I could look at you straight in the eye while I talk to you.
That would be very discomforting.
Wouldn't it, though?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it?
I think that we should share a mic. Don't you? Wouldn't you like to just look me right in the eye while I talk to you?
No.
Is this doing anything for you?
No.
You sure that didn't do anything for you?
I'm not going to read Corey's comment in the chat.
You didn't feel a twinge or anything?
No. A twinge of the ginge.
Flannel channel. All right, I got to calm down. I got to calm down and back away.
Anyway.
I got to pull out. That's what I got.
Our guest this evening, formerly a host here at Inked Geek Studios, the host of Diary of a Trans Woman, a friend and a fellow podcaster, Abby Wessels. Abby, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Indeed. You were the second guest on this show way back in December of 2015.
Yeah.
It has been a while.
I'm like 2 years older now.
What's that?
I'm like 2 years older now.
Brandon's 3.
Whoa.
Who would have thought?
But yeah, no, it's been a while. I mean, a lot has happened since then. My studio has changed quite a bit since then. You have come a long way since then. You are now an award-winning podcaster. We're not going to talk about the stupid shit that went along with that. Fuck Cochran. But
Completely legitimate.
you're an award-winning. No, it was completely legitimate. Don't listen to him. You are an award-winning podcaster, and that was really cool. And the fact that you were kind of like you were part of the studio when you won like that was really. Even though I had no part of it whatsoever.
Oh yeah, you did. I mean, all of Ink Geek Studios and Diamond Club and Frog Pants and all the different networks that are tied together in this little community were
just being mentioned in the same sentence with those two is really cool. So
I know I was quietly amazed there
so
too.
I appreciate that. That means more to me and Brandon than you realize. So that's awesome, and thank you for that. But no, that's cool. But yeah, so you got that. You recently started doing your show live. By recently, I mean yesterday.
Thanks to you helping me set up OBS. So.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm getting ready to kind of chill for the night. And I'm like, she's like, "Are you familiar with OBS and Twitch?" I'm like, "That's kind of what I do. It's kind of my thing." So Google is apparently you don't have that problem with XSplit. Apparently XSplit captures Google fine.
what the heck is going on with XSplit? Because yesterday, EJ, my co-host, is going on and on about XSplit and how XSplit is amazing.
Okay,
and
now
how
here's
XSplit is awesome.
so here's the thing: is XSplit, and I was that way actually. Hugo there in the chat room, him and I both stream gaming on Twitch with that for a while, and XSplit's great. Actually, Hugo ended up buying a lifetime membership to XSplit, but OBS, it's open source, so there's a lot more. I mean, that's the open, and the O in OBS is open, so there's a lot more that can be done with it. There are some features XSplit has that OBS doesn't, but OBS is free. It's updated a lot. There's a lot of plugins. Plus, because it's free, it's what a lot of entry-level Twitch streamers use. And for that reason, it's also what a lot of the higher-end ones use because it's what they started with. So you have things like the Elgato Stream Deck, which is a very popular streaming tool, and it works great for podcasts when you do multiple shows. That came out of the box with OBS support, even though XSplit is like the branded version of it. So it all comes down to preference. It's Apple, Android. It's preference. I mean, at the end of the day, they do the same thing.
We've done it for a week. I'll probably go and check it out, and if it works out, then that'll be the next allocation of Patreon money.
There are some headaches that OBS provides that XSplit alleviates, but it also can be more demanding on your system too. So
well, I'm finally running on a new rig right now.
Nice.
So.
Very cool. New rigs are always fun.
Oh, I know. I love it.
Yeah.
I have a functioning semi-modern build right now, and it's the first time I've ever had anything like that.
Yeah, no, they're great to have. It's like that feeling of like your first new car.
Yeah.
It's
I can attest to that, given a year ago I switched over to PC gaming, so having built 2 rigs now, I guess, with Nate's help. Well, mostly I'm standing there while Nate does it, and I hand him pieces. But
I love building computers.
That's
fun.
what I did with mine too, and the performance is nice, but the fact that I was able to do it without breaking anything is even more exciting.
Always an added benefit.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing now too, is that when we hit that middle point, like when we were still kind of adopting into every home has a PC in it.
Yeah,
they were still not user friendly, and there were computer or PC builders that would make $100, $200, $300 an hour putting a PC together. And by the time you put it together and install Windows, especially if you're talking like late 90s, early aughts, like when you get to that point, you're talking 3 or 4 hours with troubleshooting and things like that. For nowadays, it's all fucking color coded, so you really have to like you have to just not be paying attention and not reading the rules. Like I personally know people who have burnt out $400 video cards because they didn't ground themselves and they shorted their system. Yeah, or like they built their computer on a rug wearing socks, not realizing that static electricity is an actual thing.
Yeah,
so
pretty sure that's what happened to me. I'm trying to build a Raspberry Pi thing right now, and I'm pretty sure I fried it.
That's no good.
But because work paid for it, I'm just gonna say it came to me broken.
There you go. So you're a longtime friend, and we got to meet for the first time at Nerdtacular back in July, which was awesome.
We met before that, right?
No, we didn't.
Was that the first time in person?
That was the first time in person, but we get along, so it didn't really there was no But that was the first time in person. Yeah, because the only other time that I met any other Tadpoolers would have been BlizzCon in 2014, and I didn't even know who you were then.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because I think about JF and Amy Frost, they're like internet friends. And that, but Nate, he's just a regular friend.
Right. Probably because you were part of the studio. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
We talk a lot, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? But
yeah.
But anyway, so this show is going to be very relaxed and casual for the sake of listeners.
As if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, exactly. But I do, in case anybody, because your show is kind of a big deal, and it's also it gives an important thought to the transgender life and kind of what you go through. I mean, from the beginning, it's kind of outlined what's in your head and what's in your thoughts, and I think that's an important, and that's partly, along with the quality and your work behind it, I think that's a big part of it, is that you have an important message with your show. So I don't want to graze over that in case anyone listening is not familiar with you or your work. So do you want to talk about that for a little bit and kind of give an outline of a brief synopsis of kind of where you got started in your show?
Yeah. So for anybody who couldn't draw the line from A to B with the podcast name, I'm a trans woman. I came out about 3 years ago. Um, and one of the things that I noticed going through my transition was there were not a lot of resources out there, especially in the podcasting community, that were good support systems for specifically trans people. You had a lot of queer and gay, lesbian, bi, um, orientation based podcasts for the queer community, but there wasn't a lot of quality content out there for trans people. And I had always wanted to start my own podcast, and I thought, um, I'd kind of molded over in my head for a while, and it wasn't until going to Nerdtacular um, 3 years ago that I kind of got that kick in the pants to get off my ass and do it. But yeah, there's not a strong message behind what we do. We hop on our stream and we just kind of bullshit for an hour.
See, I would not to interrupt, but see, I would say that that is the strong message in that
Yeah.
you aren't giving a bias. You aren't like pushing an agenda, if you will. You are Abby. You are a transgender woman, and you are you. And I think that's the strong message of your show is that like, look, be yourself, be who you are, and if that's who you are, and that's who you truly feel that you are, like put it out there. There's no reason to hide it, and I think that's the message behind your show. At least that's how I take it.
Yeah, and the whole point, like, you don't want. I never wanted somebody to like hold my hand and to baby me through a transition, or just baby me through and give me a really dumbed down feeling of what life is like living like this, because nobody gets that. And so just having people out there, having a community that you can be a part of, or even just a couple of assholes with microphones talking for an hour every week, and knowing that, hey, there's somebody out there that is like me and they're fairly normal mostly, and that goes a long ways towards helping somebody who doesn't necessarily have a lot of resources at their disposal.
Right. Yeah, because it's definitely one of those things. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the community, there are your Hollywood elite that are part of the community, and you know, I'm sure you've gotten into that in one way or another on your show. But it's cool to have somebody who is not just younger, but also somebody who is very true to who they are. Because, like you said, it's not like there's a whole lot of money involved. It's not like there's all the different things that you went through. And we talked a lot about it when you were on a couple of years ago, but the issues with the family stuff and things like that. And how, like, look, like, no, it's not easy. And you're not coming out and trying to say it's easy, but you can do it if you put your mind to it. And there are other people going through it. Like, you aren't alone. And like I said, I listened to a good chunk of your podcast, and that was always kind of what I took from it. It's like, just like everybody else, like you're just on there hanging out, having a good time. And again, that casual, relaxed nature is really what I take from the show. I mean, I was a fan of it. I mean, that's why back in early 2016, excuse me, you know, I invited you to be a part of the studio because I really liked what you were doing and I enjoyed your show. And I'm like, yeah, no, like if you want, like, I would love for you to be a part of the studio because it's like, I appreciate your podcast.
Yeah, and I have said this before, and I will continue to say it over and over again. If it weren't for the support and the hosting and the resources that Ink Geek Studios provided to the show, there's no way we would be where we are right now. And so, yeah, we've gone independent and we've kind of done our own thing, and we're brainstorming, expanding, and merchandising and doing all this stuff. But we would never have been able to do that to get to this point if it weren't for the support from IG Studios to begin with.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm duly humbled.
Duly humbled.
Duly.
Duly.
Really.
Like I said, it's going to be a very casual show because Abby is awesome. And I mean, like I said, if you missed the pre-show, I'm sorry. But yeah,
We had a cracking good time.
we did. I wanted to make sure that we at least got that out there. But yeah, so check out Diary of a Trans Woman. And yeah, that's just the name of the show is the Twitch too, right? Twitch.tv/Diary of a Trans Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have our own domain now, DOATW.com.
Nice. Very cool. And
Snack that 5-character domain.
and once she goes live the next time and then all the following times. We're going to be hosting it on our Twitch page too, so you'll be able to catch it there as well. But anyway, yeah, so formal talk aside, how is Abby? How's life? Because like I said, we talked, I even said it when I messaged you on Facebook the other day, like other than scheduling you for the show, like we hung out at Nerdtacular in Utah, and then like we've barely talked since then.
Yeah, we chatted for a bit in Utah. We drove down to the airport and listened to songs about 10-foot cocks and few hundred virgins. And
Oh, of course you did.
Of course.
Of
Oh,
course.
hold on. I have to talk about that. The best. Okay.
Hold on.
No. I got to duet karaoke sing Luke Bryan with Abby, and that was the coolest thing ever.
Did you have a cowboy hat?
No, I didn't. I didn't wear my cowboy hat too. Although I can hear.
there was once upon a time that was a thing that I listened to.
Well, Nate, you're on your way.
There we go.
I can barely tell you're in Maine.
What, that I have one within arm's reach?
Well, I'm glad you segued into karaoke, because what more can you say about a 10-foot cock and 200 virgins?
A few hundred virgins. Virgins.
Virgins.
Yeah.
Yep. Song
Props
Dick.
to Tim Minchin, because that song is awesome. But yeah, so anyway,
That's basically the I Just Met Nate song.
Yes, no, that is the inside joke of people who know me IRL, is that if you are in my car for the first time, we are listening to Tim Minchin.
I like how you started out in your teens with Stephen Lynch and
Yeah.
grew up into Tim Minchin. Hey, have you heard Superhero? Yes. Hey, have you heard 10-foot cock and a few hundred virgins?
Admittedly, that one's no a lot more often.
Not now.
Yeah, hang out with me. Because I like comedy and I like spreading comedy.
You
And
like songs about anal sex and God.
anal sex and God.
And again, I'm calling you Peggy from now on.
Oh God. All right, so now that we've derailed yet another conversation, so yeah, post Nerdtacular pre this show. How's Abby?
Yeah, tell us about the post and the pre.
The post and pre.
Jesus. I got in trouble for that question 2 years ago.
Oh, I was thinking about just like sex. I was gonna say the pre takes a lot longer than the post. Anyways,
I guess it depends on how selfish you are, but
or how much time you spent shooting estrogen into your body. That too.
could be a factor.
Yeah. No, life has been pretty good. I'm living in Detroit right now, working down there, right downtown, which is great. I love Detroit. It's a great city. I just got back from a trip to Brooklyn. I spent a weekend in New York City hanging out with people who do the If You Want It campaign. They do jerseys or merchandise that say gender is over if you want it. And their whole deal is shattering the gender stereotypes that come with stereotypical men and women, and just breaking away from that a little bit. They did an event for just advocacy and awareness for youth at the Brooklyn Public Library, and hung out with them. And lead singer of the band Against Me, Laura Jane Grace, came and did a kids set, which was freaking awesome.
Against Me is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Laura's great too. But
Now,
yeah, and then
correct me if I'm wrong. Transgender, right?
her coming out story in 2012 was what showed me like, hey, this is a thing.
Okay.
So
cool.
She's kind of, it's weird because she, for the longest time, was a huge idol to me, but now I find that I have connections.
Right. Do you
So
think
that's
that's
kinda weird.
something? I mean, I don't necessarily want to tie it to a serious talk about transgender stuff. I mean, we can, but like,
I mean, so we might
right.
as well.
Do you think that that's something that might be indirectly working against the cause, in that? So you have, I mean, almost in the same way with homosexuality, you have, so obviously you have more people coming out as transgender, and for that reason, you have more people becoming comfortable with it, therefore also coming out. So do you think that might work against it, where you have the people speaking against it saying now it's just a trend?
Are you saying, well, I don't think they're definitely not saying it's a trend. If correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think you're saying is, me who transitions from within the binary male to female, a lot of my existence centers around trying to emulate what stereotypical femininity is.
Right.
And start to break that down and destroy it a little bit, then that kind of destroys my image sense or
Well,
my sense of.
Well, it wasn't so much. It wasn't so much that as much as it was. Okay, so
Are you saying that the whole idea of it is gaining ground within popular culture? Popular culture.
let me change it. Let me change it from something other than transgender. So maybe
are you
I
saying
can,
it's becoming more mainstream?
again, well, I don't know if that's the word I'd use. Okay, so let me pull it from something different. All right, so you have product A, right? And
Yeah.
you have a couple people who buy product A, and then a couple other people notice who buy product A, and eventually you have people who start buying product A only because other people bought product A. That's how marketing, like Apple. Right, there we go. So in that respect, I'm not saying that people are becoming transgender because it's trendy, but do you think that that is an argument that's being used by those that ignorantly oppose it?
Oh yeah, that's definitely an argument that's being used by people who oppose it.
And that's what I'm saying. Do you think that with so many people becoming comfortable expressing who they truly are, is that almost not only? I mean, it's a good thing, but do you think that also kind of works counterproductively, where that ignorantly gives weight to that argument?
There's no matter what you do, there's nothing you can do that will not ignorantly give weight to people
Very
who
true.
fight against
Very true.
trans rights, that kind of thing. However, I mean, you do definitely see a lot more people coming out, and especially like as the years go on, transgender identities have been a somewhat of a focal point for the culture, especially in America and elsewhere throughout the world. Uruguay just got its first transgender senator, which is awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I think as this, you start off with the idea that gender is a social construct. The idea of what a man is and what a woman is something that is based on what we've grown up with, what our culture has established that is.
Right.
There's no definite rule book on this. And so as time goes on, ideas and thoughts and all these different things evolve and change constantly. It's true with being trans, it's true with anything.
Right.
And so I think that what we are seeing right now is a change somewhat with some resistance and in a very slow way, a change in the idea of what is gender. And so it
depends on what your
more-
definition of is. Sorry, Bill Clinton joke. Never mind.
But no, as time goes
I
on,
threw
it
Abby off
changes.
track.
Yeah. Well, how contentious do you want to be? I'm like, oh, where are you going?
Shit, lost my kid.
It depends on your definition of what is.
Yeah,
As
I'm
the
sorry.
definition of what gender
Right,
is
gender, right.
evolved, you start to see a lot more people being more accepting to variations on what traditional man and woman image looks like. And that provides people a way to acknowledge feelings of gender dysphoria, of feeling like, I don't want to fit into this role. I don't feel like I fit into this role. What
Right.
role do I fit in? And for the first time in especially modern American culture, this is something that can be openly discussed and openly thought about. And a lot of people out there, I mean, whether it's your orientation or your gender identity or your kinks or your anything, like people bury stuff all the time.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be with sexual stuff. It can be like just, yeah, my favorite color is pink, or I really like the board game Shoots and Ladders, and
I listen to Nickelback.
Yeah. People bury stuff like that, but
Right.
now it's become more acceptable to talk about these things, and people are able to dig up these buried feelings that they've had and face them and dissect them and figure out what they want to do with that. And I think that is resulting in a much more prevalent transgender culture.
Right. Did you, by chance, I don't know what your opinion on him is, and we don't need to get into a discussion about that if you don't agree, but like, did you see, because Bill Nye did that Netflix, Bill Nye Saves the World. Did you see his gender episode?
I saw one episode of it, and it was the gender episode.
Now, I thought that spoke a lot. I like the theory of gender being a spectrum. Like, I thought that was a good way to put it.
Yes.
Do you fall in line with that way of thinking, or?
I do. The fact that it's a spectrum. The way that he did it with his whole like abacus diorama is very reminiscent of the Genderbread Man, which was stolen and is plagiarized, and there's a whole story behind that. But the Genderbread Man, the Genderbread Unicorn, this idea that a person's identity is made up of your sex, whether it's male or female or intersex, and your gender identity, which is whether you identify as more male or more female or anywhere on that spectrum, your orientation, your gender expression, whether you are more butch or more femme or more flamboyant or more masculine. All of these things slide back and forth all over these different dials and create who you are. I think that is a very accurate representation, one of the most accurate representations that I've seen before. However, if I remember correctly, he also had a ice cream orgy scene in that episode.
He did. There was an ice cream orgy scene.
That I did not really get behind, because it I think it did. It shows that people can be into different things, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to like vanilla ice cream just because somebody likes vanilla ice cream. You can like chocolate or pistachio or anything. You could like something really freaking weird like bubblegum ice cream. But his depiction of that specific example was pretty over-sexualized.
It's like, hey, let's all fuck. I mean, that's pretty much what that cartoon was saying. Have you seen the show?
I've seen the show, but I haven't seen that episode.
No, yeah, he got renewed for a second season, which is good because Bill Nye is great. And he, so I follow that page on Facebook, and obviously, I mean, again, social media comments, and I'm part. I'll get on there and troll too, but and like but man, he got such flack for quote unquote pushing a leftist agenda. And it's like, we're sorry that the left's agenda is science. Like, are we supposed to be apologetic for that?
Yeah, it's I don't know.
It's whatever.
There's just a bunch of bullshit out there when it comes to the idea that, oh, this idea is leftist or this idea is right wing. Like,
right.
Some of it is just real. Some of there's truth out there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's subjective. Now, there are certainly things that are subjective, but when you bring politics into it and try to associate things that are false and things that are scientifically proven with those, that can be...
Gravity's just a theory, man.
I don't know. There's too many people on the planet. Everything is overcomplicated. Just let everybody... It's very simple. Just let everybody be comfortable with who they are and do their own things. It's no mystery that people have likes and dislikes.
Right.
It's the fact that we have to waste time and get muddled in all of these buzzwords. Right wing, leftist. It's such a waste.
And people nitpick it so much.
Right. There's so much mental energy wasted on all of these things. If everybody could just let everybody else do what they want to do. I mean, let's not kill people. Unless you're into that.
That'd be nice.
But, you know,
I would like that.
And it's funny, this country, you know, we're progressive. We take 2 steps forwards, and then we get a Trump and go back.
The Trump card has been played.
It's like there's some weird collective where we go too far in one direction, and then collectively we're mildly uncomfortable. So let's elect somebody that's going to take us back a decade or two.
I was kind of curious, without getting overly political.
I'm not trying to politicize anything, but that... But that is the catalyst. That guy is the catalyst for everything that is wrong.
Right. But I wasn't saying you, but I was gonna.
He is the personification of all the things that we're talking about.
Oh no, you're not wrong. I was gonna say, so we are in obviously a present Trump presidency right now with
regime
with the line of thinking that he enforces along with his supporters. Like, have you noticed any, like, with you being transgender, have you personally noticed any kickback in your communities?
I don't go anywhere without a weapon on me anymore.
Fair enough. I don't think that's. I mean, it sucks that
a big thing.
It sucks that you feel that has to be done, or maybe it's not even that you feel that way. I mean, it could very well be something, especially in Detroit. I mean, I would think that is kind of the way of life in Detroit anyway. Like, you don't go anywhere without a weapon.
Right. I had seen a tweet that I can't remember who actually tweeted it out, but it was something along the lines of bigotry has been emboldened in this country.
Right.
within the last year, and I totally agree with that. Like those people, you want to talk about what's in vogue right now? That's what's in vogue.
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah,
what pop culture is.
and I guess if you want to be overly optimistic about it and say like, oh well, one good thing to come of this is that we now know that people always had these thoughts.
Oh yeah,
People
these.
always
If
thought like this.
anything,
People always had
it's
these opinions about
it's good
minorities,
that they've
women,
been
and
given a
trans people.
voice. Yeah, and I say it's good they've been given a voice because now they can be identified. Like we know that we aren't as progressive as we thought we once were. Like these problems still exist,
Yeah.
and something needs to be done when there's a
Not-
leadership that
Nazis
cares.
existed way before this, but now we know that they're out there.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's even being felt in the geek culture, like in the gamer, or I should say the gamer culture, because we're all geeks in our own way. In the gamer culture, so a week from tonight, the new Wolfenstein game comes out, Castle Wolfenstein. It's a, I mean, I don't know, are you familiar with the series? It's-
I mean, it's called Wolfenstein,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm assuming it has
it's
something to
science
do with
fiction.
Nazis.
It's science fiction based. So, like, you know, brief history. World War II, the Nazis were they were the most advanced in their scientific technology because they were willing to do experiments nobody else was.
Yeah.
So the Wolfenstein series takes that a step further, where like the Nazis have mechs. Like it's very over the top. Like in one of the Wolfenstein games from like the 90s, like you had Mecha Hitler. It was like Hitler in like a mech warrior thing. Anyway, whatever. So you play an American soldier and you kill Nazis. This game first came out in 1988. This is
Yeah, I remember that.
This is the first time the game is released where there are people, literally people are arguing that the game is being insensitive towards, they're not obviously saying Nazis, but like there's a counterculture argument towards like your targets in the game. The same way that perhaps, like, not to say it's the same thing, but like you would have, like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was a big one with the Middle Eastern terrorists. So like the same way you would have Middle Eastern people championing against the Middle Eastern terrorists in the game, you now have people that are championing for the Nazis in the Wolfenstein game, which is fucking ridiculous. When did supporting them ever become a good thing?
I wonder, is it a matter of before this whole political climate, did these arguments happen and they just weren't given the time of day, or did they just not happen until now?
Well, I mean,
I think we've been heading toward a world of outrage anyway.
Yeah.
Like, never mind the political climate, that's a factor for sure. But I mean, just as a people, we've been headed in this direction. Look at social media; that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know when everybody got so offended all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not offended.
But see, there's a happy medium of. So one of the big things, it's come out, no pun intended, that there's a very good chance that Finn and Poe might be in a homosexual relationship in Star Wars.
No, it's a triad.
Who would the third be, Ray?
Yeah, Ray's the asexual third in it. She basically sits in the corner and watches them do their thing and then cuddles them afterwards.
Ah, okay.
I've got this all played
So
out.
it's like a bisexual cuck type situation.
Yeah, something like
All right, so we're waiting for that fanfic.
Anyway,
it's in there.
so now there's two things to be taken.
So
There's
now I know what the theme is for the show after this show.
There's two. Jesus, there's two things to be taken from this. One, so you have a bunch of people who are saying like, oh, they're pushing the politically correct agenda. Since when? Like, why is being gay why is that politically correct? And why is politically correct a bad thing? Like, so you're being sensitive towards other people's feelings. Boo fucking who? Like, you're complaining that they're not being sensitive towards your feelings by being insensitive towards their feelings. And the fact is none of them get that. But the one thing I will take from this, and maybe it shows that we've progressed a little bit, no one's complaining about the fact that it's an interracial relationship. So at least we're good there.
Knowing that you know.
Not well, yeah, but I mean, no one said anything about the post. Like you don't have anyone saying, "Well, it's cool that they're gay, but they should be two white dudes." Like, no one's taking that stance, so I can at least be happy about that.
Well, that's quite a concept.
I think that racism is just as alive and well as it was before this environment. You go back 10, 15 years. I think it was just as bad.
Yeah, no, it's all very sad but true. It's
Yeah,
again,
it's
they've
just a
just
self-perpetuating
they've
thing.
been
It's
given
just
a
not
mega
going to go away.
they've been given a megaphone.
If they could not indoctrinate us into that at an early age, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe get rid of all the old white politicians and have some younger people try to run the country for once.
Right. Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, we're getting very very swinging in one direction here, but like it's yeah, no, it's difficult and it's tough. And then but then like there are some fights where like you have to think is that fight worth fighting? Are there more important things? Like so here in the
Well,
States,
that's different. That's subjective. That's completely
well,
different no matter who you talk to. So, and that's where you get into allyship and how that plays out when those fights conflict with fights that apply directly to you, or
right.
saying like, yeah, I support you, but I can't take time away to, I'm gay and I'm fighting for gay rights. I can't focus on your person of color rights right now.
Right. And people tend to forget. So like the big thing with Trump, right? For example, the loud arguments are he's sexist, which I don't think anyone who pays attention can even argue against that. But he's racist, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, right? But then there are and he's also, he's anti-gay. Like he's very much of the Christian movement, right? Christian Catholic movement. Like he's very behind the churches. So
It's gone that way because that's the people who are going to support him.
Right, exactly. And also Pence. But yet you have gay people who voted for Trump. You have people of color who voted for Trump, and you have women who have voted for Trump. So it's very interesting, like as blatant as some things are, people still will, and maybe that's just human nature. Like we ignore what we don't want to believe and just focus on the details that pertain to us.
Well, and unfortunately, it comes down to who has the biggest megaphone, because it's like you go to Google and you type in like carrots cause cancer or carrots cure cancer.
Right.
You're going to get results on either side.
Right.
Today you can eat eggs, tomorrow you can't.
Right.
Very opposed to Trump. You are going to have women who are very supportive of Trump.
Right.
The majority of those numbers and like how those scales tip has no bearing whatsoever, because if you have a big enough megaphone, you can say, hey, look, I'm not going to talk about these 3,000 women over here who are against me, but look at these 300 women. 300 women, all here right in front of me that have a ton of support for me. I can show you these people. I can put them up on a pedestal. I can put cameras in front of them and show you what the faces of my supporters look like.
Right.
Women support me.
Right.
And
he humanizes the people that are for him and dehumanizes the people that are against him.
Exactly. Regardless of who the majority is.
Right. And it's like anything else. I mean, to lighten it again, like take it back to gaming a little bit, just because, gaming is kind of what I know. It's the same thing. When a new game comes out and everyone on Facebook is like, oh, this game sucks. And it just seems so, and if you are wondering whether you want to buy the game or not, and you see those comments, all you see is the loud minority of this game sucks. That's because everyone that likes it is playing it. Yeah. So they're not there to defend it. And that's part of it, is it's that focal drive where you are focusing on that one small group.
Right, but if you're stupid enough to go out of your way to read that and listen to those people, then fuck you anyway.
But there are people that
you
are
should
that
be
dumb.
smart enough to form your own opinions and not worry about what everybody else says.
See, now I am very much a review person, but not Facebook
GAC on
reviews.
Amazon. You're going to read the reviews,
right? I want to make sure it's quality GAC.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abby, for lightening it back up.
Yeah, but that's not gonna sway me one way or the other. I know about GAC. I'm buying it.
I mean, do you?
So I'm being given
have a more modern iteration of GAC, because I'm pretty sure if you get a GAC from the late '90s, you're going to get some kind of a rash.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna add a few drops of water and work it in. It'll be fine.
I want to add an asterisk to something I said, because I got called out by two people, Annalisa and JF. Yeah, churches was a broad generalization. So when I was saying that, I obviously was implying the churches that are anti-gay and like the ones that stand behind him. So that's like, the hardcore right wingers that are like, and there I am, the trigger words again, that are
hardcore.
Hardcore. The ones that are like, like protesting like gay marriage, and the people that like won't sell cakes to gay people, things like that. Like that's I certainly didn't mean all encompassing. Like, I mean, So yeah, I did not mean it that way. I apologize. It was kind of a blanket statement. I kind of do that. It's kind of a bad habit of mine.
Well, you get on a roll, and
I do. So about Detroit.
Wait, you're talking about churches. Westboro. There's an episode of Smodcast coming up with Kevin Smith, and he has
Right.
one of the family from the Westboro Baptist Church on there now that she's reformed.
Oh yeah.
It's not out yet, but I'm super excited.
Yeah,
to
that'd
listen
be.
to it.
She left the church.
Yeah, she left, and I can't
Nice.
remember which one it is. It's the one that he warred with through protests when he had his friend there, and he had. Have you ever listened to A Night with Kevin Smith or any of that?
I have not. No.
If you look up the Dick Taste Yummy poster, his friend Malcolm, it's excellent. Malcolm Ingram on Instagram. It's
I feel like I'm gonna get a lot more than just one poster if I look up.
yeah, you will, but
don't-
obviously put it with Kevin Smith.
Don't
I mean,
Google the dick taste yummy.
or I'll just send it to you. Either way.
No, we're doing it now. So
Megan Phelps Roper. She's the one that's reformed.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean to look at her now,
Right.
considering beforehand, it's amazing.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure.
People can change.
there's a
If
lot
you
of
can
kickback.
change,
I know-
I can change.
I know
We
I-
can all change.
I know I've made the come to gaming, but the kickback. Look at Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 takes place in Montana. You are, and they're getting a lot of shit for it because the main protagonist is a man of color, and your enemies are inbred, hickey, like cultist white people, and Ubisoft is getting the shit end of the stick. Look at them pushing the left agenda. It's like,
that's
no, I know, but I'm saying that's the ignorance that follows in here. But
how do you handle that then?
you
So,
don't.
you're gonna get that no matter where you go. But what's the best way to handle it? Do you just ignore it and hope it doesn't affect your sales?
I like it. Oh, as them, they're Ubisoft. They make the buggiest games in the world, and they still sell a lot of money or sell a lot of games. So their sales are just fine.
Oh yeah, true. But there's somebody in a suit who's white and cis and straight in a boardroom saying like, what is going to happen to our sales if we have this many people yelling at us about this?
Yeah, no, I
Mm.
don't think they'll pull punches. Far Cry. I mean, who knows? We'll see. But I'm excited to play it. But
Well, I mean, there's definitely other. Ubisoft is a big example. to
I
use,
mean,
but,
they've
this happens
rubbed
all the time to any kind of creative person.
yeah,
out
they've
there.
rubbed a lot of people the wrong way with the Assassin's Creed series because while they have the disclaimer at the top of the game, like it takes place in history, but all the characters are fictitious. Like it's our interpretation of history with some fiction thrown in. But like their interpretation of Leonardo da Vinci, who was the big author during the Renaissance in Europe.
Mm,
I bet
books.
I
don't
bet
know.
Corey, JF, or Amy would know. It was a big Renaissance author. Or the industrial. No, I'm sorry, not Renaissance. The Industrial Revolution. It was a big author during that time. And that was the most recent one, and their interpretation of him caused a lot of turmoil among certain people. But yeah, no, I mean who knows? The game will still sell well. But that's not really the point. The point is that like people will argue about fucking anything.
And
Yeah.
hopefully the big issues come from giant companies who can absorb that. anger.
Right.
I know there's a lot of people out there who can't.
No, but I think the people that are out there that can't are probably the ones that aren't necessarily taking the risk. They're being a little bit safer.
And is that helping or hurting?
Helps them. And I
them,
mean,
does it help does it help change the culture in a way that's positive though?
well, the thing is, it's
Not
like
necessarily the goal, but yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, that's one of those. I've always been like, I don't know. It's tough. But and then you've got people like we talked about it on All Geeked Up a little bit. But you've got people like, oh,
Hey,
we
it's us.
lost Abby. We lost Abby. It's us. We're doubled. That's weird. I'm gonna go here for a second. Oh no. Well, how are you, chat room? There's been a lot of shit going on.
Yeah. JF was outraged that I undersold the Megan Phelps Roper thing.
Time for a 4-way.
Time for a pee break.
Fucking Corey.
A pee break. Man, I really shaved her close, didn't I? Shit.
You did. Oh, she's back.
I'll be back.
I'm back. Somebody let their computer go to sleep.
You gotta turn that off.
No, mine didn't go to sleep.
Then how'd it happen?
I don't know. I just saw like, oh hey, hangout session ended because someone left their computer to go to sleep.
Oh, weird, because we're here, and it just said Abby left the call.
No, both of my computers are up and running.
We have no video, though.
Oh, should turn that on. Brandon just left.
Yeah, he took a quick bathroom break. We weren't sure how long you were going to be away for.
I didn't go away. You went away.
It's Hangouts. Yeah, there you go, Hugo. Blame Google. So anyway, no, I was going to ask, because it's funny, because I totally forgot that you lived in Detroit. So to pull this away from a totally non-heavy issue. So obviously Detroit has its reputation, right? So we were watching the pay-per-view the wrestling pay-per-view a couple weeks ago. It was Hell in a Cell, and it was in Detroit. And they had referenced that it was a new arena in Detroit. And I was like, wait a second, Detroit has a new building?
Yeah, Little Caesars.
Is Detroit pulling itself back up? Because Detroit was kind of that stereotyped, like it's the city that's dead, like it's all horrible, right?
Oh yeah, it went bankrupt. It's terrible. It like homes breaking down, like people like the heart of downtown is a very dangerous place to be in. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, like him or hate him, Dan Gilbert with Quicken Loans moved headquarters to Detroit and has been buying up buildings left and right and remodeling them and expanding and taking every person that comes out of college with a BS degree that they can't get a job in and saying, hey, come on and work for us. And
it's nice to see somebody with money doing something constructive.
Exactly. And regardless of whether or not you agree or disagree with where he stands, he has done an amazing thing for the revitalization of Detroit.
Right.
And he's a big
I
reason
assume you
why
mean where he stands,
Amazon's
like
looking at Detroit for their new headquarters.
You mean like where he stands politically?
I don't even know where he stands politically.
Yeah, because that's one of those things. That's one of those things where, like, because I'm a Patriots fan, right? So I live in New England, right? And during this whole election, and then in this presidency, like, it came out that Brady is a Trump supporter, and Bill Belichick is a Trump supporter, and Robert Kraft is a Trump supporter, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, they're rich, like they're rich white dudes. They're voting with their pocket. Like, you can't really fault them for that. Like, I don't blame a rich white dude for voting for Trump. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, if he's not going to be preachy about it, fine. Like, let him do what he wants. But, like, I'm not going to stop watching the Patriots for that reason. I'm going to stop watching them because of how they're fucking playing this season. But I'm not going to stop watching because of his political affiliation. But anyway, no, that's really cool that's got turned around. Because, yeah, I mean, obviously with Detroit, like, you know, you get, like, the rap scene and, obviously Kid Rock's from there, Eminem's from there. There's a huge rap culture from inner city Detroit. So it's cool that got turned around. I had no idea that was happening to Detroit.
Well, yeah, and have you heard the stuff with Amazon?
I haven't. No, being a postal employee, I typically don't pay attention to Amazon because our future is packages, and Amazon likes to stomp us out. My future is packages. You just heard me say that out loud.
To put a second headquarters,
right?
And Dan Gilbert came out very early on in the game and voiced a desire to have Detroit be the next place that they have their headquarters. And they've been doing a ton of marketing and have been putting in bids to Amazon to say, like, hey, come to our city. We're going to do awesome things for you. And I'm real interested to see what happens and see how that impacts. Like, if they do move to Detroit, that's 50,000 jobs. That's a ton of more infrastructure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Scarborough put a bid in.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't get it, but it'd be amazing if they did.
Yeah, no, I would very quickly apply for Amazon.
As would I.
Yeah. No, that's cool, though. And more jobs is obviously always good. Especially, I'm wondering, see, because, like, like I said, I work for the Postal Service, and that's something that we're going through in the opposite direction with the removal of jobs. Like, we haven't mentioned it on this episode yet, but I talked about it briefly on All Geeked Up right before this, is that we are having it's a nationwide reorganization. Like, all the jobs are getting abolished and reposted as different jobs, and everybody has to bid for new jobs. So like my schedule's changing, my days off are probably going to change, things like that, because we are just slimming down. The unique thing with the Postal Service is that it's a union-based job, and which I mean that's not the unique part. There are plenty of union jobs out there, especially warehouse/labor jobs. But we have a no layoff clause. So if you are a career employee for the Postal Service, they're not allowed to lay you off. So they're constantly trying to rejuggle things to stay within budget and still and keep their employees. So they're always like, since they can't lay off the people lower in seniority, they're always trying to like do early buyouts with retirees on the top end. So that they're trying to balance it out. But yeah, so we're slimming down. So because so many things are becoming automated. Like there are 40 jobs in the building that I'm in that there is a machine now that could eliminate all 40 of those jobs. So I'm wondering what Amazon does in regards to, like, I wonder how many of those jobs are like maintenance-based jobs to work on the machines.
I don't know. I mean, I've got people who are in Quicken Loans who the things that go on inside of that job, the number of different positions that go on in a mortgage banking company, and let alone the fact that Quicken Loans owns about 30 different companies.
Right. That seems to be the nature of the world these days. One big company.
Sooner or later, yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have everything owned
Google,
by a few
Apple,
companies,
Amazon, like everyone just owns everything.
which is bad for everybody.
Yeah. I know Quicken Loans owns a football helmet manufacturing company, or like an engineering. So like safer football helmets. They own a company that's like a stock market for sneakers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No,
But
there's a deep hole that you can go down if you look at, like, if you start following companies and look at like who actually owns who. And like all these companies exist. Like if you don't really know, like Brandon and I are both big fans of Converse, right? But like if you don't pay attention, like it was several years ago now, but Nike owns them now. Like so like they're not Converse anymore. They're owned by Nike.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, that happens. Like you look at like Activision Blizzard and Vivendi and things like that. There's always that major parent company. I ran into somebody the other day who didn't realize. Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. You went all robot-y.
Is Google messing up again?
Apparently
I
so.
think Google might be messing
Yeah.
up
Apparently.
again. I got nothing major going on in my
No,
end,
it's just
so-
Google. Am I? Yeah, it's definitely Google.
Yay.
Great.
Hold on, let me see if hello. All right. No, there's something is being kicked back and played back.
Yeah.
Hell, yeah, I can hear you fine. But if I turn my mic on for Hangouts, yeah, Hangouts is fucking up. Leave the call and come back in because it's
Say
easier.
what?
Leave the call and come back in because it's easier to do that.
That's fine.
Fucking Google. Speaking of big corporate conglomerates. Are you open in a tab? No, the only browser I have open, I have two browser windows open. I have Hangouts and I have. All right, let's see if that. If not, I'll just. All right, are we fixed?
What's up, Buttercup? You there?
It seems as though we are fixed. Yeah,
Okay.
it was again a Hangouts thing.
We're fixed.
We're fixed. I want to.
I uploaded a gigabyte of video while recording yesterday, so
Oh Jesus.
and
But,
everything was fine.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, I have decent internet and like occasionally I'll be streaming and like my upload will drop and I'm like, what the fuck? They ain't cool.
I'm getting a new place at the end of the month, and it's going to be like right in downtown. And I'm going to have Rocket Fiber, which is one of the only direct competitors to Google Fiber.
Oh, nice. Corey says it's my fault for smack talking corporate overlords. We did lose
Big
your
Brother
video.
is always watching.
We did lose your video again though.
Oh, it's all gone to hell.
It's all going to hell.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I am not touching a thing. I'm not touching anything I'm not supposed to be touching.
Like Gak.
Like Gak.
I knew someone would say it.
So outside of crazy controversial things that probably have got people to stop listening.
My life is a controversy.
What else? I mean, how else has life been? Let's pull this back to
Not too bad. I'm exploring different options, getting into my activism a little bit. I mean, that's kind of, you say outside of controversy. I mean, that is kind of what my life is. I'm either
Well, that's
working
true.
or just bumming around and having a good time or doing my activism stuff. And
Right.
that's been fun.
Yeah.
So I'm still hopping out. I work at a vintage store on the weekends, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah. So flying out to Los Angeles in a couple weeks, gonna hang out there for about a week. So
Awesome. It's always nice to go nice weather West Coast when it's getting shitty in the East Coast.
yeah, definitely. I'm also pumped because like within a month I'm doing East Coast and West Coast. So
Very cool.
I feel like an adult.
Nice. Going to any other conventions coming up in the somewhat near future?
Not really. I've been chatting with some people I know at Blizzard though, and I might be getting a tour of the campus down there.
Ooh,
Jesus, between Joey and then you, man,
seriously.
Well, that's why I'm so excited about it because I saw what Joey did.
Yeah, no, that's really damn cool. I am like Blizzard is my holy grail of gaming, so like I'm totally jealous.
I'm sure you'll talk your way into a tour at some point.
I would love that. No, I'm too.
gotta
I'm really good with step 1. I'm really good with step 3. Step 2, I suck at. We've discussed this.
Yeah. You're too quick with the gack.
Yeah, I'm too quick with the cack. But
Are great, but the middle is not that.
no, I'll catch your attention in the beginning and I will wow you in the end, but fuck if I keep your attention on the way.
It's all fart noises all the way
Middle.
through.
It's all fart noises.
Oh man, the Nate guy is really nice. Oh, it's really interesting. What happened?
I love how we go from like completely controversial to childish.
Oh, it's everywhere.
It works out, girl. JF says to tell JF says to tell Jeff to hire him to write the Junkrat Roadhog book. So talk to Jeff Kaplan apparently when you're at Blizzard.
Oh, okay. I will. If I run into him, Brower's not there anymore. That makes me sad.
No, I talked to him about coming on the show, and we exchanged Facebook messages a couple times because we're friends on Facebook. And yeah, no, I was so sad. Man, it's been like they've lost so many. Like everyone that like I communicated with a lot. Like I was never on a level with anyone where you could say friend, but at least internet acquaintance. Like Zarum.
Like Zarum.
Oh my God! Fucking Hangouts is doing it again.
Fucking Hangouts is doing it again. Oh, I think we're good.
Maybe. No, I'm hearing myself.
Hold
on.
I've never seen this happen.
No, it's literally never happened. I don't know. Hello. All right. Now let's
Hello.
switch back. Hello. All right.
Hello.
I alleviated it by fixing my output. That's weird. But yeah, like Zarum, I talked to a lot. Bashiok, I talked to a lot. Like people who, and then just people I was a fan of. Like, man, it borderline broke my heart when Metzen left. Like, you know, and then Brower, like you got Metzen, who's the fucking voice of Thrall and like for the Horde. So that sucked.
He's gotta come back. Like he's done being like CEO, big head honcho guy, but he's got to come back to be doing voiceovers for Thrall and whatnot.
I think, yeah, and I think that, like, I mean, I guess so Thrall. I'm sorry, Thrall. So Metzen leaving the company. He's definitely back on a part-time basis, right? Because he voiced. I can't tell if we lost Abby or not. She looks frozen, but I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me or not. But the lag is real. No, we never have this problem, and I don't know what the issue is. It's so weird. Hey, Twitch people, does the stream seem fine? Like, there's no lag? Like, it's purely a Hangouts thing, right? Like, the stream is good. That we'll get to them in a second.
Yeah.
With the stream delay. But cool. Thank you, Hugo. But seems to be Hangouts. Yeah, no, it's definitely. Look, Abby's here multiple times. According to my end, you're still on the call. And I'm roboting.
My Chromebook decided to just shut down randomly. So.
Oh, weird.
Oh my God, this whole thing is cursed.
Yeah, everything's
the back half of this has just gone right to hell.
Yeah, the back end is taking a beating. But yeah, no. So I mean, being a horde player, the one thing that I could say about Metzen at the very least going part time is that it got Varian killed, and I was happy to see that. Um. So, but yeah, no. And then Brower left, and Brower's like the emotion behind like Blizzard.
I mean, I used to like go to school, like high school, with that like playing in my headphones. I grew up. He was a soundtrack to my childhood,
Yeah.
and he was. I mean, he was one of those people where I don't think we necessarily call ourselves friends, but we recognized each other at Nerdtacular. We'd say hi to each other. We're friends on Facebook. I never felt the need to like fawn over him.
Right.
After the
Yeah, he was definitely like a man of the fans. Like he was very I mean, like if you look at like and that's how you can tell. Like you look at Greg Street, who's with League of Legends now or with Riot now, and like you look at Metzen and you look at Brower and all these other people, like so like obviously like, you know, the Tadpool and like Scott and stuff. Like Scott's kind of a big deal and he's got a lot of ins at Blizzard, right? But regardless of Scott's strength and power with like a pull with Blizzard, um the fact that these guys were willing to come to Nerdtacular and just hang out shows a lot.
person convention.
Yeah, it shows a lot for their character and who they are, like that they were willing to do this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they handled it well. They didn't come expecting like they were definitely community people, not following people. They didn't have a following. They have a community.
Right.
And show up to these events and it's just basically, hey, you want to hang out? Let's go smoke a cigar and grab some drinks. And
Yeah.
just chill.
No, it was definitely cool. And they're a great company and a great community and they put out quality stuff, you know, and they bring people together. They form relationships, they form friendships, they connect people from all over the world. So they're a cool thing. I mean, you can say that a lot for gaming, but there's a nature and a type of culture that goes with the Blizzard community that I think holds a candle over so many other communities.
Yeah, they seem to be the most accessible of all of them.
Right.
I don't think that community is formed because they put out such great content. It's not about the members of that community forming a community. It's definitely has a lot to do with the fact that the people that create this community are a part of the community. They're not the head of the community. They don't you look at somebody like Metzen or Brower and they don't want to be seen as like heroes. They don't want to
Right.
be that person. They want to be a normal person.
Right. They are the, you know, the cliche of they are gamers making games for gamers.
Yes.
Like they do it because they are also fans of it.
Yes.
So and I think that again, yeah, that speaks pretty highly to them. What do you I mean, what do you play for Blizzard games?
Oh, geez. For Blizzard games, I have not been playing much of anything lately.
It's kind of how I've felt a little bit, other than Heroes, because Junkrat is amazing in Heroes.
Yeah.
I just recently came back to that, but other than that, no, I'm pretty tapped out Blizzard wise too. I'll hop on with the Overcast crew, Amy and JF, and play some Overwatch now and then. But other than that, very rarely, surprisingly, has Blizzard kind of been my go-to.
Yeah. But they've always been there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's what makes them awesome. I mean, as far as games go for me, I've been so swamped with work and trying to get a ton of other life stuff figured out because I've got issues.
Mhm.
I haven't really had a lot of time to game. I got real into Civ 6 for a while. I was
Nice.
playing Oddworld, the new and tasty
Oh, yeah.
Oddworld games. I'm trying to look at my my desktop on my gaming rig right now. Yeah, Civ 6 has been what's gotten me. A while ago, I was doing Watch Dogs.
Nice. The sequel, Watch Dogs 2.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Nice. What were your thoughts on it? Because now, did you play the first one?
A little bit.
Yeah, because the first one was not well received at all, and it was a buggy pile of shit anyway.
Yeah, it's clunky as hell.
The problem with
The
Watch
new
Dogs
one,
1 was it came out around the cusp of like GTA 5, and I don't care how good Ubisoft is, they're not Rockstar. So, but Watch Dogs 2, Hugo says Watch Dogs sounds rough. Fucking Hugo.
Watch Dogs 1 having it be set in Chicago, like, yeah, that's awesome. I've been to Chicago. I know
Right.
it looks more familiar to me. It's more like my home. But at the same time, Chicago is can be a pretty dreary city, especially when you set it in kind of like the lower class neighborhoods of Chicago. The
Right.
whole setting of that is just kind of a bit of a downer.
Right.
And you in like sunny San Francisco, and it takes on a whole new light, quite literally. And you have a lot more character development and plot lines. I mean, and they did amazing things by, and personal biases coming out here. Like there was a huge queer presence in Watch Dogs 2 for a game centered around computer hacking.
Right. Well, to be fair, they were also in San Francisco.
True. But I mean, Watch Dogs 2 did not have to have a transgender woman who is on the city council be a main character.
Right. No, they certainly didn't. And again, and that goes back to like we were talking about what is Ubisoft's bravery with pushing certain limits, and because again, same company behind Far Cry 5 that we talked about earlier, and Assassin's Creed. So yeah, and that's really cool that they're willing to do that. And Elisa, I will get on somebody's case about making a Walker Texas Ranger game.
Watch Dogs is in San Francisco, and so they put their own headquarters in the game.
They did, and actually, if you hack the headquarters, I forget what the game was. It might have been Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you like unlock a poster for the new
No,
game.
no, you unlock. Oh no, it wasn't. It was a new. But either way, there was. But no, you could hack their headquarters and get like a hidden trailer. It was a legit trailer for an upcoming game, but it was only available by hacking their headquarters in the game.
Yep.
So, and that was pretty cool.
They couldn't put Google in there, so they did what, Noodle?
It was Noodle, yeah, and so you can Google the Noodle.
Noodle.
But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. Playing it on PC, it was one of the first games that natively supported ultra wide, so it was cool to play on the ultra wide monitor. If you have an NVIDIA card, right around about a year ago or so, NVIDIA introduced publicly this software feature called Ansel, where you could take 360-degree screenshots. Yeah, so Watch Dogs was one of the first games that supported Ansel, or one of the first AAA games. There were some indie games that did, but they were one of the first major market games that supported Ansel, which was really awesome. Mm-hmm. So Watch Dogs pushed some grounds, and my favorite character, like I didn't really connect with the main character at all. I thought he was cool, and I liked him, but I didn't like. But the hacker dude that had like the LED face.
Oh, crap. What's his? I know like Horatio is the guy, is the other black guy who works at Noodle.
It's not it's not Switch, but it's something like Switch.
Twitch.
No, we're just looking up itch words. But yeah, like if I had more of like that really scrawny spaghetti, Wrench. See, I knew it was something there. But yeah, if I was more of a like lanky fellow, then I would totally dress up as that guy because he had a really cool look. Like he would be a cosplay for me if I weighed 90 pounds.
Oh yeah, I mean, you take the mask away, and that's kind of my favorite style. I don't know if you've seen like pictures lately, but I have adopted the leather and just that kind of badass. I've been told I'm very futch.
Nice.
I'm butch, but
you're futch.
I love studs and leather, so that would be my.
Yeah, no, and that was the thing with like because obviously Ubisoft did it with Watch Dogs, Violation did it with Saints Row, where you had the character. I mean, you could customize the outfit, but you couldn't customize the character in Watch Dogs. But they definitely had more of an alternative style. And that's kind of why I gravitate towards those more than I did Grand Theft Auto. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 with Grand Theft Auto Online is 100% across the board customizable, and that's cool. But in your Grand Theft Auto propers, like they definitely geared more, other than the 80s one, they geared more towards like the ghetto thuggish style. Yeah. So I liked being able to... I liked having characters because I've talked about it on several shows. But when I play a character when I play a game where I can make a character, I like to make myself in the game as much as I possibly can.
Always.
So I like it when the game's style accommodates my style.
I have never been someone who likes doing that. I'm also the kind of person who treasures stories way more than anybody else I know. Like I love listening to like Risk and The Moth and all these podcasts because other people's stories speak to me in ways that my own stories don't. And so being able to follow Marcus Holloway through Watch Dogs 2 and seeing the shit that he goes through
Right.
as a person of color, as a computer hacker, as a geek, as this cool techie guy, it gives me a different perspective on things, and I really like that.
Okay, I can understand that. Really quick, Annalisa, isn't Red Dead set in Texas? I mean, it might as well be Texas. It's just Wild West, like Red
Yeah.
Dead and Red Dead 2's. I mean, it's not modern Texas. I mean,
Texas-
it probably is pretty close to modern Texas. But
Brutal.
Color hasn't
Sick
changed.
burn.
right, Annalisa is wonderful. We love Annalisa. Annalisa's great. But anyway, now that we've done the total opposite thing of what we're supposed to do, is we've started with the heavy stuff and then gone to the light stuff.
Nothing wrong with heavy stuff. I like my good heavy stuff.
Heavy
Now that
stuff
we're
is-
all chafed.
yeah, started with the heavy. We've burnt ourselves out.
Now we're dealing with the aftercare right now.
Right. Yeah, you gotta take it. Oh, I got angry faces. Gack. Thank you, Hugo. Man, that is not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, you're stuck with it.
Somebody's gonna send me a pack of Gack for a birthday present or a Christmas present or something.
Gack is for life.
I would enjoy that. I would laugh at it. Not enjoy it, but I would laugh at it.
Oh, I would enjoy it. I would enjoy it. Again, if you want some connection to what we're talking about, it is all in the pre-show. You know what? I got to give you credit because we have a lot of pre-shows. There's a lot of pre-show content and post-show content up on our Patreon. But this is the first time it's ever been so good that I felt the need to pitch it on the actual show.
Yep.
Yeah,
So thank you for that.
got to have more inappropriate people on.
Yes, apparently.
That's what I keep saying. It's more fun.
I had Floam. Not Annalisa, we were talking about Floam.
Yeah.
Annalisa missed the pre-show, but
Yeah.
Annalisa's a
Floam
patron,
was too
so
sticky.
huh?
Floam was too sticky.
Floam was the one where it was like the little foam balls, and it was just like connected with like jizz,
Yeah.
right?
And it smelled funny. Distinctive smell.
Right.
Actually did kind of smell like jizz. Now that I think of that.
Jesus Christ. Yes, we did. We wished her a happy
Jesus
birthday
Christ.
the second she popped in chat, but I think we were still in pre-show for that. So Annalisa, happy birthday. Do we want to sing Annalisa happy birthday?
No. Happy birthday.
Come on, Abby, you start.
Hang on. Wait, I have a
Wait, hold
birthday
on.
song
Is
that I
it open? Is it open yet, or is it still under trademark? Is it copyright? Whatever. Is it free? What's the term I'm looking for? Free use.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Here. We'll play.
Wait a second.
So anybody in the audience who's got a birthday today, happy birthday to you.
There.
That's enough. I don't want to be.
All I ever hear when I hear that song is happy birthday. Now we're going to have to kill you.
Public domain. Look, see, I love having a live chat room that's smarter than me.
They say it's your birthday. We're going to have
So,
to kill
oh yes,
you.
and her birthday is also her anniversary. So happy anniversary to Annalisa and Kinnan.
And a birthday? And a birthday?
Anna birthday. That just sounds like a really lispy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Oh my God, that's totally a thing now.
Oh.
Okay,
T-shirts.
we got to remember this. October 20th. Okay, October 20th is happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, Annalisa.
Has she heard that before? How long has it been an anniversary for her?
I think I saw Kinnan's post. I think it was 7 years.
Oh yeah, she's heard that joke before.
Yeah. Engagement anniversary. Oh, engagement anniversary.
Oh,
Okay. Well, it's still anniversary.
engagement birthday.
Engagement. Engage a birthery. Oh my God, that sounds horrible. It sounds like you're engaging in birthery.
Engage a birthery.
That sounds horrible.
Everyone's doing it.
Apparently. For fuck's sake. Anyway, I think we've gone off the rails enough, and we have to have you back on more often. You are incredibly fun.
Let's do this
There's
before more years goes by.
Yeah, right. I mean, there are many webs and subsects that different shows and episodes fall into, but there, like for the grand descriptions, there are two types of shows, two types of headers that come out of this podcast, and it's people that we're meeting for the first time, and we get to learn about them and make new friends out of it, and that's an incredible thing to do, and it's one of my favorite things about this podcast. But the other thing that we get to do is have friends that we already know on and come on and just have scheduled conversation that we may not get to normally have, and it's always a good time. So,
and you already know I'm an inappropriate pervert. So
you are indeed.
What you're getting with me? I don't hide that.
Inappropriate is subjective.
Yeah, but I admit it fully.
I am knowingly inappropriate.
It's really the only way to be.
Situations where I handle it like an adult. So
Yeah. Handle. Let's see here. Abby said, or JF says, you should start another show on Inked Geek, and then after the most successful show on the network, get the fuck out again. Wow. Thanks, JF.
It's the best way to launch.
Was I supposed to do something the day after Thanksgiving? I don't think I was.
I can't think of anything.
Nah, just Black Friday.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, hold on. Is it?
We're just here to incite the chat room, basically.
Amy says, and she for one loves you for it. Yeah, shots fired. Yeah, I get it. Hey, it's fine. JF can be. Me and JF had a spat last week or the week before. No, it's okay. It's because I'm a loudmouth. That's all.
Was it a spat with Gak?
It wasn't a spat with Gak. No.
No, that's how they made up.
No, I did not. I did not partake in a Montreal selfie.
Gak in the shed.
Oh God.
A Gak in the shed. He said, I came here to eat popcorn and be an asshole, and I'm all out of popcorn. Well, you know what? At least you're not all out of assholes, so you're going to have a good night.
All right.
A whole bucket full.
A whole bucket full of assholes. Hey, he fired first.
I see starbursts in my future.
Why?
Yeah, you don't know what that is, huh?
No.
Okay.
Oh, like, yeah, no, I'm piecing it together in my head, and I'm regretting it. All right, quick rundown. All your links, where people can find you.
DOATW is where we host all of the show stuff. Twitch.com/Diary of a Trans Woman. Facebook, it's just Diary of a Trans Woman. Twitter is at Trans Diary Show, because Diary of a Trans Woman is way too long. I am at Abby Geek, ABBYGEEK on Twitter.
Awesome. And as for the show, you can follow us on Twitter, IG_Mind of a Geek. You can watch us live. And again, this is going to be changing, but once it changes, we will make sure everybody knows. But for the time being, you can watch us live every Friday night, twitch.tv/InkedGeekStudios. We are on... Sorry, I was just trying to get my calendar so I could say who's on next week. But we are on at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The feed goes live at around 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. It is kind of our Friday night of podcasting. Yeah, if you listen to the podcast version of the show, nothing's going to change. You listen to the podcast, and it will be recorded and uploaded, and that's kind of the thing. You can join us next week. Notice how I was delaying, but then didn't open the calendar.
Yeah.
Next week...
It was almost a pro move.
Yeah,
Almost.
We are going to be joined by Tony Sandoval, who is going to come on here and talk about booze. So that should be a good time.
That should be exciting.
It'll probably be an episode a lot about booze and barbecue. So...
I know. I look forward to the inner workings of mead.
Yeah, Tony's mead.
Yes.
Mead is popular and good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What?
Corey, you're barking up the wrong tree, bro. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to let him dangle in the breeze.
I'm not gonna. I'm done. I'm
Not here to
done.
cup the balls,
Yeah,
man.
Friday nights, 9:30 p.m. Twitch.tv/Inked Geek Studios. If you would like to support Inked Geek Studios
He does.
and Mind of a Geek, please consider going to patreon.com/IG Studios. We are very close to our $50 a month goal, which will open up the patron exclusive hangouts. So if you want to get on and Discord with us and hang out and chat and whatnot and ask us whatever you want to ask us. It'll be a good time. It'd be, as far as the host lineup now, it'd be myself, Brandon, and Miss Amy Frost. So you can come on and hang out and shoot the breeze with us. And as Annalisa says, give him $1. And again, a big happy birthday to Annalisa. You rock. And I mean, yeah, she is here all the time. Now there's a lot that's here all the time. Like Annalisa was like the first here all the time.
Ashley's going to be pissed.
But Ashley's not here all the time. Ashley's in and out all the time.
She was here all the time initially.
Fair enough. She comes back and forth so often.
Well, now she hate fucks us, so.
Yeah. Look, see.
She's all about Corey and Matt now.
Yeah, she betrayed us.
Well,
she betrayed us.
Hats off to the better show, I guess.
Ashley's in and out all the time. She's a busy woman. If only I had the one to eat the dick bumper handy.
I know. It's gone.
I know. It's gone. It's gone. Comments withheld. Live chat room. We love you guys. All right. So anyway, yeah, before I tangent off even further, I'm going to wrap up. So Abby, thank you again so much for joining us. It was incredibly fun. And if you enjoyed her conversation, check out her show because it's good shit. I wouldn't have had it on the network if it wasn't. And it's probably even better now. So check it out.
So.
And do you have a scheduled time when you'll be going live?
We have been sticking pretty strongly, unless something goes wrong, we've been sticking strong to Thursday nights. So usually around 10 Eastern, 9 Central-ish. But that's up in the air.
Right. Cool. Well, follow twitch.tv/DiverTranswoman and turn notifications on. And then you won't miss a show. Because, yeah, it's good shit. Go listen to Abby.
Please do. I would like. You're always welcome.
Right. Maybe I'll pop in and say hello one time.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be interesting.
Later on, right?
Yeah, later on. I'll pop into the after show.
Hey, I wasn't done with you yet.
Right. All right. So anyway, thank you again very much. Thank you as always to the chat room and to our podcast listeners. And yeah. For Abby, for Brandon, for myself, and for the rest of Inked Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you next week. You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.